Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my channel. You're very welcome here. My name is Christiana Davidson, and I'm a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist, and I specialise in the world of narcissistic family systems, dysfunctional families, childhood trauma. Apologies, I think there's an aeroplane going over, so you might hear some background noise. But the topic for today now is the second in this mini-series on the covert borderline mother. And the first one we looked at triangulation and how this is, a tactic that is used by these mothers to manipulate and control. Now today we're looking at another aspect of this type of mother, and that is the use of projection. And projection is huge when you have a narcissistic parent, be that mother or father. Today we're looking at the mother. We know that projection happens in these narcissistic family systems because of the roles that each of the children is given. So, in the narcissistic system, one child will be the scapegoat child, and that child will be projected, all the negative aspects of the parent will be projected onto that child. And then all the ideal qualities of the parent will be projected onto the golden child. So that's more the narcissistic parent. Today we're looking at the covert borderline. Now with the covert borderline mother, it's an on-off type relationship. So one minute you might be experiencing some idealization, the next minute you're going to be shamed and rejected. So let's explore this a bit more. So in terms of projection, Freud was one of the first to come up with this aspect of narcissism, and he describes it as attributing one's own unacceptable qualities and urges, important for our discussion today, onto another. So for example, the covert narcissistic borderline mother projects onto her children her shameful self, the parts of herself that she does not want to own, that she does not want to integrate with, that she wants to just get rid of. She wants somebody else to take responsibility for them. She doesn't want them. So, for example, as her child, you may have experienced times when your mother suggested or told you something negative about yourself. For example, who do you think you are? You are so selfish. Gosh, you're so self-centered. Oh, you do think highly of yourself, don't you? You don't fit in with the other boys or girls, really. You're different. What is wrong with you? You're not normal, or you're not like other boys or girls. Why are you not like other daughters or other sons? Now, in these statements, she's actually revealing the parts of herself that she cannot accept. She's projecting. So, for example, who do you think you are? Well, who does she think she is? She thinks highly of herself. Everyone's got to, run around and make her the centre of their worlds. She's the selfish one. She's self-centred. It's all about her. In fact, she is the one that doesn't fit in with other boys or girls or her peer group. She's different. There's something that she believes is wrong with her. She believes she's not normal or like others and is struggling to fit in. So she projects out these qualities about herself onto you as her child because she cannot bear to see them in herself. So she shames you so that you can carry that shame for her. You can be the bearer of her shame. And this lightens her heavy inner world that is full of self-loathing. It's like she can just almost spit it out a bit, spit out some of this massive loathing that's at the core of herself, her authentic self that she hates, that she believes is shameful. She tries to get rid of it, get shot of it by putting it out on others. So now she can loathe that thing about herself in you and make you feel loathsome too. So that kind of makes her feel a bit better. Now somebody else is also having to deal with it, not just her. And also then she can later reject you for it, so she's no longer rejecting herself. But there's another aspect to this that I sort of haven't really come across in the literature or in research, and please tell me if I'm wrong. I could very well be, and it's likely so. And I've sort of come up with my own name for it. I call it planting. Planting before projection. So let me explain here. The covert narcissistic borderline mother will plant a seed of potential shame in her child by first suggesting something to them about who they are or what they're like, just a suggestion. Or she might give her thoughts about something that's happened for the child, or her wisdom on something. And it will be her planting before later projection. So she plants this little seed. For example, the mother may have a very low self-esteem about her own lack of friends, or her own ability to keep friends even. Her own ability to fit in with her peer group and feel equal. So, when her daughter is young, 5, 6, whatever, she may suggest to the daughter that, one day you might find it difficult to fit in with other girls, and that's okay. You might find that your friends, they don't like you as much perhaps as you do, or they might leave you. Now until that point, the child may have had no issues in the friendship group, but the mother has now planted this little seed of doubt, which will be fed later on. It'll be given some nourishment to help it grow. And this is an analogy, of course. So later on then, she will project out her shame onto you about herself not having many friends. And what she'll be doing is then she'll be triggering that seed that was planted back then. That seed that children automatically take in as the truth about themselves and about life from the parent, who is God to them. That seed will be there, and then it will be re-triggered when she later on suggests something like the following. Say you're 10 years old or something, she might say, "Oh, is Tracy moving away, your friend? Oh, gosh. Another friend leaving you. They always seem to, don't they? Oh, I feel so sorry for you to go through this again." Now you see, if she had said this without the preparation beforehand, it would have been much less sort of instantly acceptable. You might have kind of argued a bit, well, no, that doesn't always happen, even at age 10. But because that seed's already been planted in the planting phase, this now is beginning to take root within you, that this is the truth, that this is my identity, that my friends always leave. And so the projection of mum's shame about her relationship with friends has now been solidly taken on by you, and you are now carrying her burden. It's become your burden, and she can feel some relief that she's not the only one. and that actually she can see her shame in you. And she'll confirm it later on, again and again. You know, it might be something that you'll be watching a film, you might be 15 years old or something like that, watching a film, and say someone's, two friends get separated, or the friendship breaks down, or one dies, or something like that. And you'll be watching the film, and she might just, when that happens, just put her hand on yours and kind of just give you a knowing glance. With that kind of really false, it feels like a false compassion. There's a motive behind it, giving you that sad sort of knowing look, as if to say, gosh, this is painful for you, I know, isn't it? And you might be thinking, this is not what's going on here. Something's a bit off, and it is. Or she can affirm the seed that was planted back then, or this projection onto you, by even just a knowing glance, kind of that when something happens, or a head nod, as if to say, "Oh, told you so." Or sometimes even just making a sound and giving a sad look. Say for example you come home and you tell a joke about, I don't know, somebody, it's about friendship, or Billy no mates, or something like that, as we say in England, and she might kind of look at you and go, "Oh," and give a laugh that kind of suggests that it's a bit awkward because there's a truth in it. So all these subtle ways then of germinating and reaffirming that projection that took place way back in early childhood, and most of these do, because that's when children are most sponge-like, accepting the words and the projections of their parents as the gospel truth within them. I'm going to just finish this with a very controversial one now, and please bear with me as I explore this. Bear with me before you come down on me like a ton of bricks. But I think it's an important one just to put out there. I've heard of some mothers, borderline covert mothers, who have secretly themselves struggled with homosexual tendencies. And because this, for them, is something that they don't want to acknowledge in themselves, that they are shameful, they feel deep shame about, of course, they're going to want to get this out. And the way that they are able to do this is projection, like we're looking at today. So who are the first recipients of the projection of the narcissistic mother? Well, it's going to be her children. So, with that in mind, these mothers have gone on to project onto their children via suggestion that the child may experience homosexual feelings, or she may sort of nurture the more feminine in her son, or the more masculine in her daughter. She may sort of suggest things by her words and her glances, and almost sort of, what can I say, nurture that within the child, so that the child will then take on that identity, projected identity, and bear with me here, projected identity from her, so that she doesn't have to come out, so to speak, and process it and deal with it. Rather, the child then will do that for her, and by her having a child who she can sort of project her own shame out onto, she then removes herself from it, and it's almost as if she can continue to hide behind the mask that, oh no, it's my child, and I'm totally behind it in him or her, but I'm not. It keeps up the mask. Now, look, this is not to say that Not every person who is LGBT comes from this situation. I am not saying that at all. It's just something that I have picked up on, and I thought it's interesting just to explore it. You will probably have your own opinions on this, no doubt. The thing is that, these projections are powerful. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And, there is no area that the narcissistic mother will not hold back from when she is dealing with her own shame, the borderline particularly so. Just to clarify at the end here as well, this is not usually premeditated by the mother. This is her way of surviving. This is how she has coped with life, to project, and that's what she does. It's not that she wakes up in the morning and thinks, oh gosh, that would be an excellent way of, just get... No, it's just part of how she operates. It's not actually a conscious thing. It is a survival trauma response, if I'm honest. So instead of going within and facing their shame, facing the shame within, like we all have to, facing our traumas, these are projected out. It's a way of disowning those unacceptable traits, of being able to relieve themselves of the unbearable toxic shame they have about themselves within. So when I have clients that come to me and they say they have a covert borderline mother, well, what we need to do is we need to really assess what are the shame areas that you have in your life. What are you shameful about yourself? Because I'm willing to bet these are a projection and they're actually somebody else's shame that you are bearing. And it's time for you to put down that shame because it was never yours at the start, from the start. And that can be quite a revelation for clients, actually. Those things that you believed were you are actually a projection. It's not you. And we have to get you free of those projections and allow the true you to come out. We need to free you, in other words. Okay, I would love to hear your comments, any examples you may have of the planting phase and then the projection that follows. Is that something that that resonates with you? It's my own little theory on this. And I'd love you to subscribe if you haven't yet. I do try to put out about 2 or 3 videos a week. And I'm very grateful to everybody who's subscribed already. And please do like the videos if you do like them, obviously, because that helps to increase their popularity or the exposure to others on YouTube. Okay, thank you everybody, and see you again soon. Take care.